Faith is a lifestyle. It is the mountain on which you stand that makes you believe that a dream is actually attainable. It is a concrete evidence that makes the logically impossible seem completely tangible. It seemed hopeless, but faith. I can't prove it, but faith. I can't explain it, but my faith has given me peace.
I'm a Christian with $100 million vision. Can nobody box me and say that's a contradiction? Goal driven, God just blessed me with the ambition. Look up when there is, he rests the definition.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in extraordinarily uncertain times. Not only is everyone concerned about their health and the health of their families, we are also concerned that our whole lives have been shaken overnight and our lifestyles have pretty much changed. A new normal is upon us. 10 days into a pandemic and a lot of us are beginning to run out of supplies. What was normal just a week ago, like toilet paper or hand soap or paper towels, Lysol wipes and hand sanitizer, are now just a rare occasion, like a rare occurrences. Who would have known that there'd be a day in America we couldn't just run to the store and pick up some toilet paper? Who would have known that there would be a day in America we'd be fearful that normal human connections like hugs and handshakes and family gatherings, and we'd be fearful of those things? Who would have thought that an event like a wedding or a funeral or a birthday party or a simple getting out of the house for a dinner date and a movie would be impossible, just simply canceled? Who would have ever thought that you could be told that you couldn't gather together to raise your collective voices to plead to the God of heaven for his mercy? Who would have thought they told you that you can't go to church? But here we are. A country that is completely economically shut down. Millions of people are out of work. Everyone needing the government to step up and do something. Not to mention, we have no idea what will happen after this pandemic has passed. We don't know if our employer will be able to bounce back or will they shut down permanently. We don't know. We're the career waiter who doesn't know whether or not her restaurant will stay open or whether people will still be fearful of gathering in large groups even once the pandemic is over. Like the career DJ or the career musician who renders services at nightclubs and lounges, will they ever come back, or this is just like the beginning of the end? And we're talking about career musicians and career DJs who were never counted in the unemployment number, who the taxes don't be right, who can't file for unemployment. But here we are. This one is for the books. We're definitely going to be telling our grandkids about what life was like before the pandemic, just like we told our grandparents or our parents told us, depending on how old you are, just like our grandparents or our parents told us what life was like before 9/11. Our world has literally changed in that fashion. Today, I don't have a guest. I have a principle that I have a message, not a guest. I have a principle that in this moment, no one will want to hear, but everyone will need to practice. A true meaning behind this show, the Elevation Podcast, is to take us to another level. It's to elevate our minds. And that is, in fact, my plan today. This is the Elevation Podcast, and my name is Shawn Riff-Raff. Let's do it. Man, if I was to title what I'm about to say, it would be titled, I think I would title it, "This Sucks, But Be Thankful Anyway." I think one of the things that we have to learn as people is that even through what seemingly may be the worst time, or the worst condition that could happen, we must learn how to be thankful to our core. And I think that is one of it's one of the fruits of the Spirit, but it's one of, to understand it, the depth of it. To understand the depth of it is to understand that thankfulness changes your life. And it's not just saying thank you, it's the spirit of thankfulness, even in the worst of times. And that's why I said in the intro that this was going to be one of those days where I'm going to say something that nobody wants to hear in this moment, but everybody could. If you cared enough, you could appreciate, in the long run, that I ever said this. It would be, it sucks, but I'm still thankful. Thankfulness is one of the most significant attributes to carry while walking this Christian life. So much of the inheritance of Christ is set aside specifically for you. It is tied up in your ability to understand and living a life of consistent and never-ending thankfulness. There are literally hundreds of biblical references that references the importance of what it means to be thankful, several of which I'm going to try to lay out, maybe not get to all of them, but a few of which I'm going to try to lay out so I can lay the context. But it's funny, I was in a Starbucks once, and it just so happened that, an ex-girlfriend I was dating used to love Starbucks. And I went to a Starbucks once to get her the same old thing she always gets every time she goes when she went to Starbucks back in the day. And I was wearing this shirt. Not that I'm wearing it today, but I was wearing this shirt, and it was a line at the Starbucks, and a bunch of people, were just waiting, making our orders or waiting. And I was wearing this shirt for a tour that I was having in that particular era of my life. It said, "I'm God's fave," and we was on this tour. And a lady that was standing behind me looked at me and said, well, I like your shirt, but how are you God's fave and I'm God's fave? And my response to her is pretty simple. I said, isn't it great that we serve a God that's so big that we can both be his favorite at the same time? And she said, I know that's right. And she told me about what church she went to, and we just proceeded to have a quick conversation. Nice lady. So a few minutes passed, and her name was called to pick up her order. And apparently, someone had made a seemingly horrific mistake in messing up this super nice super nice lady's order. And she went from the nice lady in the church to going all the way off on the Starbucks. I specifically asked for drizzle in my coffee. You don't see this nice drizzle? And she slammed the coffee back down on the counter. And I don't understand why y'all can't get the order right. And it's like, just berating the people behind the Starbucks. All of a sudden, this nice lady from church that we just had a whole conversation, stormed out the store, just totally ticked. And I thought to myself, how could you ever be an example of Christ if you don't understand a couple of principles and context? The first is, we're at Starbucks. We are at Starbucks. And maybe you don't understand, but you just bought a $5 cup of coffee. Let's concentrate on this really quickly. You bought a $5 cup of coffee. If you can't see Christ's blessing, if you can't see Christ's love for you, when you can buy a cup of coffee that costs $5, you're spoiled. It's like, how could God open up the windows of wealth and financial freedom the way he wants you when you fail to realize what he's already done? You know, that's one of the things that I wonder about us. God has done so much for us. He has been so good to us. He has done so much for us. I think sometimes we actually forget. And I think that in those moments, we have to turn back around and reset ourselves and realize how good God was to us. But sometimes it's like being on punishment. It's like, when your kid don't act right and you gotta take it, you gotta take the PlayStation away from them. Got to tell them they can't talk on the phone, because it's like, oh, you need to appreciate what has already been done for you. Because you live in a life as if you're entitled to the blessing of God. And I think that one of the moments that we're in right now is that resetting to realize how blessed we truly were, how blessed we truly were walking this earth. And how in a moment, in a moment that the people who thought they were in control are being told by a virus that you weren't ever in control in the first place. In that moment, we are beginning to realize what it means, what it really meant for us, how blessed we really were. See, and the government can't help us right now. They can't fix it right now. They can't, have a quick fix. And no, they can't do all that right now. One of the things I think we as a people have to understand is thankfulness changes the way you see the world. It changes the way you interpret the events around you. If that lady in the Starbucks, how much could she have shown the love of Christ had she said, I'm so thankful that, you guys were able to make this coffee for me. I'm so grateful. However, it's missing a little drizzle on it. Can you redo that for me? How much more would you show the love of Christ in those actions than if all you do is go off on people because you're entitled to just, a $5 cup of coffee. And I think that one of the craziest things to understand is that, God has an inheritance set aside for you that is likely bigger than you could ever imagine. Like, it literally has your name on it. Like, it's yours. It was yours far before you got here. It was yours in eternity. It literally has your name on it. But often he can't open the door to that inheritance that wide because you aren't humble enough to be grateful for the simple blessings that he gives you on a day-to-day basis. It's like we just don't get it. And I think that one of the things that we fail to really understand while living this life is how much the hand of God was on our life through every single situation that we thought the hand of God was not there. And how we got to learn to be thankful even in the moments where we can't see, it's not working out the best for us. And I think this is one of those moments that things not really working out the best for us. Not really the best. Can't do nothing. Can't leave the house. Everybody got cabin fever. It's not really the best. One of the most powerful, I think, verses, not most powerful, a very powerful verse is one that you probably heard or hear often. Psalms 100, verse 4. It says, enter his gates with thanksgiving and enter his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. You know, enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Praise and thanksgiving is not necessarily is not the same thing. Thanksgiving is being thankful is just a spirit, and to live a life of thankfulness means that you would live literally inside of the gates. To wake up in the mornings and just to thank God for every step of the day, just every being thankful. Lord, I'm just thankful that you woke me up this morning. I'm thankful that I'm here. I'm thankful for this shelter. I'm thankful for this bed. I'm thankful. And just living this life of thankfulness, doing this on a regular basis, that thankful person lives in the gates. How much easier is it to get into a worship and to get into when you live your life and enter inside of the gates? That is one of the first steps of achieving a close relationship with the Savior of mankind, is to understand a simple principle of just being thankful. That's what I wanted to share today. In a moment where the Elevation Podcast is not, the guest for today couldn't make it, and it's like we had to, I had to like regroup, and could I call another guest to come in, and could I? Yes, I could have, but the Lord said, I want you to share this. This is what I want you to do. I don't want you to reroute. I don't want you to try to go around it. I don't want you to try to figure stuff out. Let me do this for you. I want you to sit on your show and talk to people about Thanksgiving. Do I know what I'm going to do next week? Is there a plan for next week? Yes, there is a plan. Should that plan change, I'm going to listen to the Lord again. 1 Thessalonians 5, 16 through 18. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstance, for this is God's will of life, God's will for you in Jesus Christ. Give thanks in all circumstances. Through the good and the bad and the happy and the sad. Give thanks in all circumstances. In all of them. Even this one. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going through some tough times. But I'm going to tell you this. Thank your way through them. We are going through some serious times. It may get worse. And I ain't gonna lie. When I look at it from my point of view, from being a business owner, and looking at sales and looking at the way that things are going, it may make it worse. Be thankful through it. Be thankful through it. Smile through it. Understand that your inheritance could be held up for your inability to be humble and to just thank God during every single day in this moment. And when this moment is over, never forgetting to keep that constant principle. Let's just keep thanking God. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Elevation Podcast. My name is Shawn Riff-Raff. I'm here. I'm with everybody. I'm here. Let's go, man. Faith is a lifestyle. It is the mountain on which you stand that makes you believe that a dream is actually attainable. It is a concrete evidence that makes the logically impossible seem completely tangible. It seemed hopeless, but faith. I can't prove it, but faith. I can't explain it, but my faith has given me peace.
I'm a Christian with $100 million vision. Can nobody box me and say that's a contradiction? Goal driven, God just blessed me with the ambition. Look up when there is, he reads the definition.
Listen, before I roll out, I really want to get this. I really want to tell everybody, the Lord is really like blowing my mind these days and what he's doing in my particular life. If you didn't know, and you watch the Elevation Podcast, whether you watch it on, YouTube or Facebook Live or my website, or whether you listen to it after it's live and you listen to it on all the podcast places, we are expanding our territory. and we are now on Roku. So we're live on Roku during the moment, but we are expanding our territory, not just for the Elevation Podcast, for Shawn Riff-Raff Studios altogether. So we've got a network on Roku, in which case we're doing a whole bunch of things on network. I got a whole bunch of shows that are about to come at you, different people doing different things, and I'm really excited about what God is doing in this moment. I appreciate everyone who supports. I appreciate everyone who shares. I appreciate everyone who just, encourages me on a regular basis. It's at least 2 or 3 times a day somebody hits my inbox and says something extraordinarily encouraging to me. And I really appreciate that. The Lord is moving, and I just want to thank everyone for just being here for it, being a part of it, hanging out with me. I know that I'm, sometimes I'm a crazy dude that brings on crazy people, but it's fun. It's fun. Every Tuesday, 7:30. I want to see y'all here. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna do this every week. It's gonna be a good time, and I appreciate everybody. Check this out, ShawnRiffRaff.com. Check me on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram, YouTube, and now check me on Roku. Our network, search for Shawn Riff-Raff Studios, and our network will come up. You'll see us. You'll see the River Church. You'll see, you're going to see a whole bunch of other things coming up. I can't say right now, but I'm going to say in the future. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Peace.